You ain't never had some sweat like this. What the fuck is this fucking heat? It's too fucking much. It's hot. What the fuck is going on? Well, it's far too hot, but it's far too hot, it's far too hot, yes, it's far too hot. What great lyrics. The bliss of the abyss.
Once upon a time in a land far away, a poor farmer and his wife lived all alone. They were very lonesome.
Of the Abyss.
With Robert Neumark Jones. What's going on? Welcome to the bliss of the abyss. It's TBOTA up in this. How's it going? How's it going with you? How am I doing? Hey, buddy, thanks for asking. You can stay. I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time. Got a lot to talk about tonight, a lot to talk about today, a lot to talk about this morning, this afternoon, this evening. Good night. Bye-bye. What shall I start with? So many things on my mind, so many great, wonderful things out there in the world. What shall I start with? What's the fuck? I tell you what, Robert. I tell you what, Britain. Have you ever fucking noticed that every single country invented garnish? Okay? No one can lay claim to it. Everywhere you go, any type of food you have, there's always a little sprinkle, give a little spritz of, you know, some local variety of some herb or citrus or some fruit. Even if it's just pepper, black pepper. Every country garnishes. We'll garnish. I remember when I went to Russia, to Mother Russia. I must stop talking about Russia every episode, this podcast, every episode, Russia this, Russia that. You will get cancelled. But there was a place for sushi, and they garnished it with mayonnaise and dill. Let that sink in. What, one piece? No, every single piece that I ordered. That was the style that it came in. Oh, and pizza, well, oregano. Oregano. What's your favourite garnish? I would have to say... Now, listen, we're going to have to define the word garnish, because I was going to say parmesan on the pasta. But is... Why am I talking slowly? That a garnish. A garnish is an item or substance used as a decoration or embellishment accompanying a prepared food, dish, or drink. In many cases, it may give added or contrasting flavour. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So it does add flavour. Some garnishes are selected mainly to augment the visual impact of the plate as it smashes against your face. Oh, visual impact! Many garnishes are not intended to be eaten. Don't like those. Those garnishes can suck my titties, okay? If you're putting a garnish there, I want to read it. I want to read it. So, I mean, does that... Like, how far does a garnish go? Because let's say you made a sandwich and you decide to... An open-faced sandwich, which... Is it a sandwich? We're not going to go down that rabbit hole now. We just simply do not have the time. Although, fascinating conversation. But we can't. But let's say you had an open-faced sandwich. Which, you know... Let's agree now between me and you, loved ones, lovers. Brothers from other mothers and fathers, sisters, daughters. I'm going to stop there. Let's say it's quite a simple sandwich. 3 ingredients. If I added chopped onion on top, that's not a garnish, is it? That's like you're adding onion to your sandwich. But if I put a sprig of mint, that's a garnish. So what about dishes where, think about, great point. Great point, mate. Welcome to Great Point, mate. How was that? Great point, mate. See ya. See ya. See ya. Like chilies, right? If you have a dish with chilies in it, yeah, chili, hot. And then you also sprinkle some chilies on top. So basically, is a garnish something that you can only sprinkle? No, maybe you can pour as well. You can sort of like go... I don't know.
Ahoy, hoy.
Directly and immediately on point. Excellent. Tom?
Do you know the story of Ahoy, hoy?
A sailor went to CCC?
Something like that. Do you know what he really is, though?
Tell me.
It's so weird. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, knew that when people were receiving a call, they would have to be like a phrase that people said, being like, okay, I'm here now, like over and out, like receiving you, whatever it was.
What about hello?
Hello wasn't really used that much either. People would say like good morning or good morrow or stuff like that. But obviously, as you say, hello caught on. But his version was not hello; it was ahoy hoy, which then the Simpsons writers gave to Mr. Burns because they like think of him as this like incredibly old, like eccentric.
I watched one the other day where Mr. Burns' social security number was found. It's 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's like impossibly old, and he's always calling things the scalum electrics and all of that. Yeah.
But ahoy hoy never caught on. Is it a bit like Betamax VHS? Is it just like listen?
Yeah, exactly. It was a rival telephone initiation phrase that lost in the great telephone initiation wars of whenever the fuck it was.
Yeah, because actually it was all Bell, right? No, it wasn't all Bell. It was Marconi as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. There's others. And then, like, obviously, the person who creates the thing doesn't get to design the etiquette. It's not like Steve Jobs got to decide text speak or whatever it is. Either. Yeah. Just because you build a telephone doesn't mean you get to choose how people use it.
Yeah, I wonder if that must stick in your craw because you've put all of this work into it and suddenly people are just using, you're like, you're using it wrong.
Yeah. Also, if you're like the insanely competitive type who like has done this thing and then you're like, it's all for nothing. They're saying hello with a bunch of fucking idiots. I've wasted my life.
Yeah, or you go the Heimlich route, and you're like, you can use it for everything. It's a great cure for AIDS. You can use it for asthma.
What was that thing? He's like, I actually have some studies that prove that. And they're like, oh, cool. Can we see the studies? He's like, no.
It burned.
Exactly, it burned down. Or I tell you who else is an interesting example. The guy Tom, who was your friend on MySpace.
Tom, as in your first ever friend, is always Tom.
He was like one of the founders of MySpace, and they sold it to Rupert Murdoch. He got like, I don't know, $500 million or whatever. Yeah. Just retired, hangs out, has a good time.
He's got loads of friends after all, so...
Exactly, so it's just good times.
Yeah,
not stressed.
That's good when they just retire, because I was watching the Murdoch documentary, and it was like, and then he sold it all to Disney for $500 billion or whatever the fuck it is, and then he's like, and now he still fucking keeps his family fighting like little...
Yeah, and he keeps his passion alive. Like, right, I mean, that's a bit weird. Why can't I just like learn to paint or something?
I was actually...
That was a weird documentary though, wasn't it? Because
it was like good.
No one from the family spoke to him. To them.
Yeah. Oh, Jem told me this really cool thing, which was like, there's like an article going around about like all of the things the documentary didn't discuss.
Sorry, Rob. Wait a sec. They're very loyally children. They're very like, well, you said, but technically that isn't a so-and-so.
So, the difference
I couldn't have
between...
another ice lolly. that doesn't mean I can't have an ice cream.
Right.
That's like a very kid logic.
So they're good lawyers, basically.
Yeah, it's very like, well, technically you may or may not be right. If I ever say to her, just give me 2 seconds, she'll be 1, 2, straight away, straight on that. Like, well, all right, kid. I mean...
What I actually mean is beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
Censored, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you have to teach her figurative language, that's all.
I think she would say 2 seconds. It's more that she just wants what she wants. It's like the lawyerly logic as well. You're like, well, look, it doesn't matter what this person may have meant to say. I want what I want.
Right.
I'm going to see if I can use this person's words against them.
Right. Okay, I see. So she's very...
She wants an ice cream.
It's pursuing the agenda to the max.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Because I wanted to ask you what a garnish is.
A garnish?
Yeah.
As in food?
Yeah, look, here's the thing. I've come up with this theory, okay? And I think it might be falling apart. And it's not my fault.
Okay. Yeah.
The theory is every culture around the world has invented garnish separately. Right? Wherever you go, someone's going to sprinkle a little twist.
Sprinkle a little bit of...
Some local version of whatever they do here, etc.
Yeah.
Right? Which is, I think that's on solid ground. But then I looked up what a garnish was, and it's pretty vague. Like, if I made a sandwich and then I put some onion in that let's say it's an open-faced sandwich, and I'd love to have the debate about whether or not that's a sandwich.
Sure. Let's park that for a second.
Park it for a second, because that's at least 2 hours of back and forth.
Well, it is a sandwich. It's not really it's got the name sandwich in it.
What is it a sandwich just because you can fold it in half, and therefore it looks like a sandwich? Because that's what would make it a sandwich.
It's called a sandwich. That's what makes it a sandwich.
Yeah, but if I call a hot dog a sandwich, does that make it a sandwich?
You got to try and get more people than just you to buy into it, mate. Once you get enough people behind you, then we can talk.
What's the tipping point?
I'd say 5% of the population.
The population of this country, the UK, or of any population, because I might be...
Of any population, exactly. Choose the smallest principality you can find.
Yeah.
If you can get 5% of San Marino calling it a sandwich.
Do you know what I mean? That would be pretty good, actually. So anyway, we'll park the sandwich thing. But anyway, an open-top sandwich, it's not a sandwich. Let's say I make it, and I'm like, you know what, there's only a few ingredients in this. And we chop up some onion and sprinkle that on top. Now, is that really a garnish, or is that an element of that sandwich?
Is a sauce a garnish?
No. Well, hold on.
Does it have to be solid? Does it have to be green?
No, I don't. No, it doesn't have to be green, because I think you could argue like a squeeze of lemon would be a garnish.
Oof.
And I think actually...
Squeeze of lemon on a battered fish is not a garnish.
I don't know, mate. Why not?
Wow. Because that's not what people would say.
Oh, no, hold on. Hold on, what people would say. Who are these people? The San Marinians?
Ask the San Marinians. Ask the peaceful, law-abiding San Marinians who have never done anything to anyone. Does it have to be sprinkled?
Here's the thing. According to Wikipedia, the font of all knowledge, even a wedding cake topper is a garnish.
Oh, interesting.
Can
it extend beyond food?
It doesn't have to be edible. It can be just decorative.
I mean, is a hat on a person a garnish?
No. Is the hat
edible?
Well, if it was an edible hat, I would argue perhaps it is a garnish.
Wait, but it doesn't have to be edible to be a garnish.
No, but it has to be on food, and humans aren't food. Yeah, a garnish.
Why does it have to be on food?
No, I think we can agree at least on that. Maybe it has to be on food or drink. I mean, something edible.
They say we're going to garnish your salary.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean they're adding to it.
Weirdly, that means they're taking a bit off the top.
So does that mean they're taking some of your salary and using it as garnish for them?
I don't know. Maybe it's like an anti-garnish? Like one of those things where flammable and inflammable mean the same thing?
Yeah, or where the opposite proves the rule, whatever that means.
The exception proves the rule. I understand the exception.
No, you don't.
It took me so long, but I understand it.
Here are two things that you definitely understand that I think I understand now. Number one, the Monty Hall problem.
I completely understand the Monty Hall system problem. I'm into the Matrix. When I think about it, it's like Neo. I'm just like I see all the possibilities of the world. But I won't explain that one. But I will explain the exception that proves the rule.
Okay.
The exception that proves the rule is on Saturday night, troops are allowed out of the garrison past 10 o'clock.
Okay.
When you look at that, you're like, probably on Sunday night they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so you're just being told about the exception, and the exception tells you about the rule.
No, and what's the rule?
The rule is most nights troops aren't allowed out past 10.
No, the rule is troops are allowed out only on Saturdays.
No, that's the exception.
No, you see, that's actually the rule.
I mean, it's obviously the rule is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, troops are aren't allowed out before 10. Saturday, they are allowed out after 10.
Yeah.
But another way of saying that is troops are never allowed out after 10, apart from on Saturday.
Yeah, I would say that's a less good rule than troops are only allowed out on Saturday. Therefore, there's no exception. Yeah. That's it.
But there's different ways of saying things, aren't there? So if all that someone is saying to you is the apart from bit, it doesn't actually mean that means it's always allowed. It might actually sometimes mean this is the only time it's allowed.
Have you got any other example? Because clearly when you decided that you'd broken through the matrix, you were like, this is the only example I'll ever need to explain to anyone for them to get it. I would argue I have got it and I disagree.
There's lots of like certain situations where something is permissible, but that's the only time when it's permissible. Like places or like this person is allowed to do this thing. So like a soldier's allowed to shoot someone. No one else is allowed to. It's weird that I went to soldier again. Like basically, think of almost any rule in society.
Okay.
There's bound to be one or two little exceptions. Like you're never allowed to go over 70 miles an hour. Police are allowed to do it if they're in high-speed pursuit. Whatever it is, like whatever rule you can think of.
But how does it prove? How does that prove the rule, as opposed to prove that there are exceptions?
No. It's not that it proves. It's using prove in an earlier use of the word prove, which means demonstrates that there is one.
Shit! I see. So I see.
If all you're told is the exception, it doesn't mean that you're a lawless world. It means there actually are rules here.
The exception proves that there is this rule.
Yeah. So if you say only police in high-speed pursuit are allowed to go over 70 miles an hour, that means there is a rule. Most people aren't allowed to go.
Right.
So, not exactly the same, but a bit like proof of the existence of God.
Go on.
It's a bit like that use of the word proof. It's like demonstrates that it's there.
Right. I mean, the problem with all of those proofs of the existence of God is they are all not sound.
They're very weird. Did you ever do the ontological one?
Yep, did the ontological one.
Very weird, very different to the others, and like quite a disorientating experience when you first come across it. A bit like Monty Hall problem. In my experience, people often react quite passionately and angrily to it. So I know that can't be. Oh, it's stupid. It's just tricks us.
Which is the one? Which is the one that you remember?
The ontological one is even an atheist would accept that if God were to exist, God would be the most perfect thing in the world.
And then it's to not exist is less perfect than to exist.
Yeah.
Therefore, if a being of supreme perfection does exist, he must exist. Therefore, God exists.
Yes. I think there's fewer steps than that.
There's probably fewer steps because in terms of...
It's along those lines, though.
But it's definitely along those lines.
Exactly. And you're a bit like, you can't just move words around in a sentence and prove things, can you? But maybe you can. I mean, that's like
I think you can, but all you can prove is like that the definition of God, therefore means that.
But the tricky thing about it is that bit where it starts, like even people who don't believe in God say this bit. You're like, oh, that is a very clever move at first. That is really very tricksy. I actually think the cosmological, the first mover one,
prime mover,
is it's actually much less. The rebuttal of it's much less satisfying than a lot of people seem to think. Like if you say to people, well, "What caused the Big Bang?" They're just like, "Well, time was created with the Big Bang, so it doesn't make sense to say what caused it." And you're like, "Right, that's terrifying. I don't understand what that means."
Yeah, time was created.
Time was created. I have no idea what that means.
That's not cool.
That is incomprehensible. And they're like, yeah, I mean, we just can't understand certain things. And you're like, right, I mean, that sounds pretty mystical, what you just said. And so, I mean, like, what do I know?
I don't know. Apparently, you know the
I don't know nothing.
Ontological and the cosmological argument for the existence of God.
I know various formulations for the arguments for the existence of God. But like Bertrand Russell says, the universe is just a simple brute fact. And you're like, all right, well, I mean, how's that any better of an explanation?
That's definitely worse. It's not a simple... I mean, what is simple about the universe at all?
I think it means it's irreducible.
Yeah, but like that, he doesn't believe that even, does he? Maybe he means like conceptually.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, it's just here.
But then, can't go what about multiverse?
Yeah, when did that one get created? So... it's lovely chatting to you. Thank you for talking me down earlier as well.
Did it work? Did it help?
I'm not very good at anything that's like anticipation of any type, good or bad. You know, like if something good's coming... I mean, if I buy a sandwich, it's just a year. Like nothing. I can't
open top.
Like, yeah, go for it, man. Imagine if they did open top in a packet. Wild. I think they do. The Pret do that. Avocado on toast. That's shit, though, isn't it? No one's buying that.
It's made of oat, which is not a great thing for bread.
I guess they're worried about how soggy it gets. I guess.
I think so, and also to offer the gluten-free people a bone.
Yeah,
no bones.
But
you could have
you'd have a closed face gluten-free.
You could, but the problem is gluten-free bread. Even the best stuff is usually a little bit claggy. So to have two slabs of it,
double clag,
you know?
Yeah, clag squared.
Yeah,
clagorama. Yeah, clagus maximus. Clagstein. You heard about this new Seth Rogen movie?
An American Pickle.
Yeah.
I have heard of it. I love the premise. I've seen the trailer for it. It looks quite good.
I was like, what? Are they allowed to do this?
My local cinema has just reopened, and
I mean, you'd be the only person there if you went.
I
don't know if that would be good or bad. It'd be interesting.
But can you imagine someone does the rounds every 2 minutes checking for your masks?
Mask on, please.
But it's just me and you, and I've got my mask on.
Some of the exceptions to the mask rule, pretty weird.
Okay, yeah, hold on. Do they prove the rule? So what are the exceptions to the mask 100%. Rule?
You do not have to wear a mask
if
it's a restaurant.
Okay. Yeah.
You do not have to wear a mask in a gym or if you're doing an exercise class.
Those are just because we want those businesses to be able to function, isn't it?
Not me, but yeah, other people do.
Well, no, I'm sure you kind of do as well. Like, you don't want all gyms and restaurants to go out of business, do you, Mr. Anarchist?
No. Roll the dice, see where it lands. I don't know. A lot of gyms are pretty horrible, aren't they? Like, they're like, would you like to go into a basement full of dudes? Like, I guess.
The thing with mine is it was good to work out, but it was quite expensive. But they had a sauna, and I'm a big advocate of the sauna. But that's not back with COVID.
When I was training for the triathlon, I was a member of the Virgin gyms, because there was one just outside my work. So I'd go there before work, and then I'd also swim at lunch because they often have a pool. And then I'd also sometimes on the weekend cycle out to where Owen was, and there's a massive Lido in South London. We'd cycle out to there, and then we go to the gym near it, and it was like a treat because they're nice buildings and everything. And with the exception of that, I've basically only ever been to the ones that are called basic gym or whatever,
where it's like 24 hours,
$5 a throw. Yeah, you
there's
check
no one
yourself
there.
in, and it's underground, and it's like just rank.
Those aren't worth it. No.
Yeah, so you know,
fitness first. It's all a scam. That's what I hear about the gym. It's like they already are charging quite high prices, which people are willing to pay.
Sure.
So then to add on top, like half the reason I quit my membership is during the COVID, they were like, well, we won't charge you any membership fees. We'll pause your membership. Except when I went to check, when they were reopening them on my membership, they were like, we restarted your contract. We moved you from a rolling to a yearly.
Oh, right.
And in order to pay off your yearly, you have to pay off the remainder of your contract.
Yeah, that's no way to win friends, is it?
So saddled me with like 500 quid and was like, there you go. It's like...
Sucks to be you.
But now I don't want...
Did you say 500 quid?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
And they were like, that seems fair. For what for?
500 quid?
Yeah. I mean, I took them to
Yeah,
resolver.co.uk and that was the end of it.
Yeah, but I mean that. Oh my god! I mean, yeah, they were before in the before times. They were trying to open one of these. I can't remember what it's called, the box or something like that.
Yeah. It's
like
kind of a trendy one.
Yeah. It's only classes. There's like no weights or machines, and so like it's in the new development in Finsbury Park Tube.
Yeah,
is in there. And so they had like people with like jackets on outside being like, we'll do you a deal. And I was like, all right, let's see if there's a deal to be done here. Came in, they were like, you know, because it hasn't opened, we're trying to drum up custom. We can give you this exclusive. And I was like, all right, what's coming my way? And they're like, if you sign up for a year's contract, it's only £75 a month. And I was like, what are you talking about, mate? I was like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean, sir? As opposed to what, the usual 120 quid and then there's a signing on fee and
right. Yeah.
Scam artists.
Yeah,
mate.
it's a lot. But that's a lifestyle.
Yeah, you're paying for the lifestyle. You're paying to be seen at the box.
You've got to pay for the lifestyle. Got to pay for a lifestyle.
Well, look, I'm glad that the thing went well.
Yeah, no, thanks, man. Because I was suddenly like, Rob and Jem have to like calm themselves down. Like they'll have some ideas about this.
Yeah. Did it work at all?
No, it was good. I mean, it's not like I didn't know about count to 10 kind of thing. I think it was more just like when you get a bit of that panic brain bit, you're just like, I need someone else to tell me what the fuck to do here. My brain's just fusing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, no, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime.
All right, Brahim, keep it easy.
Cool. Say hi to my lovely niece who didn't want to talk to me.
Will do.
All right.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So there he is. That's my brother. That's my brother. I love him. I love my brother. Tom. What else do I want to talk about? I tell you one thing that I found out is that the Bermuda Triangle. Do you remember hearing about the I think when you're young, you hear about. Here's some things you hear about when you're young: the Bermuda Triangle, quicksand. You hear a lot more urban legends. And you look these things up, and you sort of think, there's got to be something there, right? The Bermuda Triangle. Yeah? This big mystery. All the planes and ships have disappeared there. Oh my God. So I was like, okay, so what's the deal? What is there like some kind of, it's also known as Hurricane Alley. Okay, is that why? Is it just a tricky part because of the choppy waters and all that? I tell you what, never have I read such a bunch of bollocks as on the Bermuda fucking Triangle. Listen to this. The vicinity of the Bermuda Triangle is amongst the most heavily travelled shipping lanes in the world, with ships frequently crossing through it for ports in the Americas, Europe, the Caribbean islands. Cruise ships, pleasure craft regularly sail through the region. Commercial and private aircraft routinely fly over it. It is one of the most busy places for travel on Earth. So what the fuck? What, because someone fucking went down there in 19-2. It's like, oh, this deadly triangle. It's not even a triangle. It's not even a triangle. I mean, what is a triangle, I guess? There've been, you know, obviously there's been ships that have gone down, right? But, you know, obviously there's a load of paranormal explanations. Ghosts, the Kraken. And then obviously ships have gone down or disappeared, or planes, and, you know, without a trace. It's like, well, I guess you could guess where the trace would be. Yeah, the bottom of the ocean, my friend. Whereas something like the Mary Celeste, this is a real mystery, isn't it? This is like a big ship with a full crew that was discovered with no one on board. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. It was just abandoned. The lifeboat was missing. That's not a mystery. Are there any actual mysteries? Are there any actual... Okay, now I'm going to look up world's greatest unsolved mysteries, but here's going to be the problem. I don't want to see anything about Atlantis, Roswell. I don't want to see that shit, man, because there's not going to be any freaking evidence. Give me the hard facts. Okay. The top 10 unsolved mysteries of the strange universe. This is from the Science and Technology Facilities Council. It seems pretty legit. Number 1, dark matter. Okay, you know what? That pisses me off. Because scientists can't see it. They don't understand it. They're pretty sure it's there. I just don't think it's a mystery. I just think that you're fucking... All right. Dark matter makes up... Okay, the things we can see make up less than 5% of the universe. And so they think about another roughly 25%. Oh, just 25%. That's right. We have plenty of evidence it exists, but as for what it is, that remains a mystery. What evidence do we have? The gravitational shit. Number 2, dark energy, the poltergeist. So if dark matter makes up 25% of the universe and the normal matter makes up 5%, what about the other 70%? We think that remainder is entirely dark energy, powerful enough to tear the entire universe asunder. Because it's expanding. Already really pissed off at 1 and 2. Let's see if there's anything else. Quantum entanglement. These are going to be really annoying. Oh, you know what the problem here is? I need someone who actually understands this to read it to me. Because if I read it myself, I'm not going to understand it enough. I'm just going to be angry at it, which is going to lead me down a rabbit hole that I don't want to go down. The Fermi paradox, that's not a good mystery. Black holes, is that a good... No, what happens if you go through a black hole? That is a mystery. But is it a portal to another universe, or do you just go... The multiverse, that's not proven. None of these are actually proven. Kaspar Hauser. On 26th of May 1828, a teenage boy appeared in the streets of Nuremberg, Germany. He carried a letter with him addressed to the captain of the 4th Squadron of the 6th Cavalry Regiment, Captain von Wessenegg. Its heading read, blah, 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 from the Bavarian border, the place is unnamed, 1828. I'm not going to try and read the German. The anonymous also said the boy was given into his custody as an infant on 7th October 1812, and that he instructed him in reading, writing, and the Christian religion, but never let him take a single step out of my house. Seems strict. The letter stated that the boy would now like to be a cavalryman, as his father was, quote, end quote, and invited the captain either to take him in or to hang him. Dear Captain, would you either take him in or hang him? I have no preference either way. There was another short letter, enclosed, purporting to be from his mother to his prior caretaker. It stated his name was Kaspar, born on 30th of April 1812, and his father, a cavalryman of the 6th Regiment, was dead. In fact, this letter was found to have been written by the same hand as the other one. whose line, "He writes my handwriting exactly as I do," quote, that was a quote, led later analysts to assume that Kaspar himself wrote both of them. A shoemaker named Weichmann took the boy to the house of Captain von Wissenegg, where he would only repeat the words, "I want to be a cavalryman, as my father was," and "Horse! Horse!" Further demands elicited only tears or the obstinate proclamation of "don't know." He was taken to a police station where he would write a name, Kaspar Hauser. He showed that he was familiar with money, could say some prayers and read a little, but he answered few questions and his vocabulary appeared to be rather limited. Because he provided no account of himself, he was imprisoned as a vagabond. Well, that's not cool. He spent the following 2 months in Lugensland Tower in Nuremberg Castle in the care of a jailer named Andreas Hiltel. Despite what many later accounts would say, he was in good physical condition and could walk well. For example, he climbed over 90 steps to his room. He was of a healthy facial complexion and approximately 16 years old, but appeared to be intellectually impaired. Mayor Binder, however, claimed the boy had an excellent memory and was learning quickly. Various curious people visited him. To his apparent delight, he refused all food except bread and water. This is far too long. Oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm going to have to pause here. Okay, pause. Who put the gliding gladiator? Hercules. Who said to be talent beta? Hercules. Bop, bop, bop. Hercules. Hercules. Bop, 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 bop. I'm not going to read about Kaspar Hauser anymore. Fuck you. I don't have to. Okay? I don't have to. Kaspar Hauser. Kaspar Hauser. Love and marriage, Kaspar Hauser, he's a baddage. That's not a thing.
You've likely never heard of a boy named Kaspar Hauser. Yet, he's one of the most mysterious people to ever live. So, who is this Kaspar Hauser, and what makes him so interesting? Let's find out in today's episode of
Colossal Mysteries.
The mysterious case of Kaspar means just that, a mystery. It's likely we'll never know what was going on with that.
You obviously will never know. Is it a mystery or is it just some fucking idiot kid? Is that the best? How is that top 10 in all the mysteries that are left? That are out there? That was fucking shit. Love you. Love and marriage in a carriage made of cabbage. Let's play scribbage in a village made of chipping. A nudist in Berlin got too close to nature for comfort when a wild boar snatched his plastic bag, which had his laptop inside. The naked man gave chase to the boar and her 2 piglets, much to the amusement of fellow sunbathers. That's a great picture. Look at his boy. Adele Landauer, an actor and life coach. Ooh. Yes. Took photos of the chase at Tüfelisse, a popular bathing spot, and put them on Facebook. Nature strikes back, she wrote, adding that the man laughed it off. Is it only pictures? Oh my God. You have to see this man chasing this hog. You have to see read the whole story about this hero. Who's the hero, though? Who's the real hero? The pig or the pig that pigs the pig? McDonald's. Face mask found inside Aldershot store's chicken nugget. Oh, God, there's a video. Oh, she's cutting open the chicken nugget with a knife. You can kind of already see something's in there. It's not clear what it is. Oh, my... What is... Oh my God. It's a face mask. It's a face mask. Not even N95. That's just regular surgical mask. Maddie was eating a Happy Meal. Oh my God. Blue. Ugh. I like the way, you know, with some stories, there's like a quote and then a body of text, and the quote is like, you know, what else is going on? The quote is disgusting. Yep. This is why I don't like op-eds, because it just says something that you're like, yeah, already think it. I mean, maybe in future that will be a good thing to look back on, because you can be like, oh, this is what people were thinking. Yep. It was a mask. It was absolutely baked into it. It had gone like chewing gum. It was disgusting. Yep. But will people really think so differently in the future? Speaking of the future, what about the past? Medieval wine windows are reopening, reviving Italian plague tradition. Amazing. It's a quaint tradition with a very dark history. Centuries ago, the bubonic plague, otherwise known as the Black Death, cancelled, swept through Europe, killing 1/3 of the continent's population at the time. Originating in Asia, cancelled. The disease made its way to Italy, not cancelled, during the late Middle Ages and spread north from there. These days, we know just as well as medieval Italians that a stiff drink can go a long way to ease troubles during the global coronavirus pandemic. Sorry, what? The wine windows, or buccetti del vino, of Tuscany. So these are little pint-sized hatches carved into the concrete walls where beverage merchants would serve sips at safe social distance. Jesus Christ, try saying that 5 times fast. You have to see these. They're amazing. More than 150 wine windows, some of which have been permanently filled, are still there. So obviously they became defunct, but now they're back. So it's just this little wine window. So someone selling you wine can just be like, whoop. Just stick it through. Just be like, here's your wine, whoop. And it just comes through. It's like a glory hole for wine. Oh, man. Ugh. Now that dentists have reopened their doors, they're having patients shop with a nasty set of symptoms which the doctors have dubbed mask mouth. It's a new oral hygiene issue caused by, you guessed it, wearing a mask all the time to prevent the spread of coronavirus, but also because you're a bit of a scared little child. Little child is leading to all kinds of dental disasters like decaying teeth, receding gum lines, and seriously sour breath. I mean, who would want to be a dentist? When I grow up, I want to be a dentist. There's that urban legend about dentists that they have a very high rate of suicide, dentists. And we're about to close the gap. The natural average for male dentists hold the highest suicide rate at 8.2%. Oh my God. Oh God. I'm happy and satisfied in my work, Franklin Niver, a dentist practicing in Encino, California, tells me with enthusiasm. It's very rewarding, professionally and emotionally, to help nervous patients and solve their disease. I've been practicing dentistry very happy for 50 years. It almost doesn't seem like work. It's a wonderful career. I then ask him if he'd ever known anyone in his profession who died by suicide. 3, he responds. It's a wonderful career. When someone says it doesn't seem like work, you're not working hard enough. Whatever you do, no, it just doesn't feel like work. Well, then work a bit harder. And it will feel like work. And then you're actually doing the job. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Speaking of the dentist, I think I'm dying. Well, I think I'm dying. Nah. I saw a drunk guy in Trafalgar Square when I was taking the night bus home, because the night tube doesn't exist anymore. Bye-bye. And the police woke him up and was like, you can't be here. He was just lying prostrate outside the Canadian embassy. Lovely. And he woke up and saw that they were police and just took out some money and offered them to him. Just like, will this sort this problem? Can I just sorry, problem? Money. Is 2060. And they were like, sir, thank you very much for the money. Bye-bye. No, they were very well behaved. Although, obviously, at least like 4 or 5 people had already whipped. That's not good for the mic. Whipped out their mobile and were filming. So maybe they were only being cool because of the phones. Yeah. What else can I tell you? I'm trying to make sourdough because that's what people in lockdown tell you should be getting into. And you know what? Fucking what? It's too annoying. Why do I have to fold stuff? You know what everyone who ever tells you to make sourdough says, and yeah, there's loads of them. Fucking get over it. You have to throw away half of it when you begin. No. How is it? How do you know which half is good then? Throw away half of it and then add some stuff to it and then mix it and then it'll grow and then throw away half of it. Well, what am I fucking doing here? Talk to me that way. Don't talk to me like that, you big blue lout. Don't talk to me like that, you big blue lout. I would recommend that everybody watch The Mask. Not because it's funny, because it's not anymore. Unless you haven't watched The Mask before. It might be funny. Unfortunately, all the jokes have become subsumed into culture, so they're not funny anymore. It's just Jim Carrey being amazing. And I don't know how many of them he came up with, or how many were already written, or how many were already The Mask, which I believe is like a cartoon or comic book character. You know, it's like, somebody stop me. Or Party, because I gotta. You know, it's all stuff like that. Smoking. So, but like, we already have heard that. You know, we've already heard it. It already exists. So the problem is, all those bits are the funniest bits, and then the rest of the film is good. It's still good, because it's like a weird superhero movie. And Cameron Diaz is in it. This is Caitlin. This is why I married someone like this. Oh, shit. She's ridiculous. Cameron Diaz wasn't first choice. Well, whoever the fuck was definitely a mistake. Who was it? Anna Nicole Smith. Oh, my God. I've got to work. Right, I better go. Oh, thank you very much for listening to the You are literally the reason that I keep doing it. I love you so much. Will you marry me? Will you? Answer me next week. Thank you for listening to the show. This has been The Bliss of the Abyss with your host, me, Robin Emma Jones, Ruskin Denmark, whatever you want to call me. If you've enjoyed the show, please consider supporting it by becoming a patron. Go to patreon.com/The Bliss of the Abyss and give whatever you can. It really, really helps support the show and keeps it growing and becoming better and bigger and brighter. Follow us on all the social medias, follow me on all the social medias, and give us 5 stars. It helps grow the show. Keep coming back every week for more Bliss of the Abyss.
Message 1. Hey, Nose, it's me. She's calling to see if maybe you're in now, but I guess not, so I guess I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night. Talk to you then. Bye.